Hello comic book fans, today we're talking about Interplanet. This is a comic that I reviewed way before I had a channel when I was on Twitter, and I still had the file while I was going through my stuff, so I said why not talk about this on the channel, because I actually really did enjoy this book when I first got it. And first of all, visually the comic book is beautiful. Like the visuals is like nearly the best part about this story, but it really does an interesting job on the genres it welcomes into this overarching story. We follow the main character, which his name is Felix, and this is more futuristic, right? And not only is it futuristic, it's like a space opera along with, elements of, like warrior style fantasy, aliens with magic, right? It's like a few different things mashed together, but it does a very good job at meshing everything together and then not feeling like everything's out of place or just thrown together. You can tell that a culture specifically was being built out of, these elements. And we are introduced to Felix's wife, which is a beautiful princess warrior. And, she's a bit of a badass herself. And we are shown the enemies that they are dealing with. The beginning of the story is pretty much showing the ending of the situation, or in the middle of a situation, and then we are given the backstory being caught up unto that point. The backstory on this character Felix is he was some form of an astronaut, but the planet that he's on, the planet that he's a part of, and his job, he does not really like that much, and it's for good reason. And the story shows us why, right? The story shows us what's going on and why he would essentially switch sides from the side he was on to the enemy side. He was sent on a mission to complete a mission, but in the middle of that, he pretty much tells the guy, I want to switch sides. I'd rather be here. Now, I have to give you guys some understanding. The planet he's on is much more advanced. The planet and the job he has and the people he's working for, it's a much better position. And a point that is made in the story is that yes, he wants to switch sides, but the planet that he wants to be on and live on is a shithole. Like, it is a very messed up planet, underdeveloped planet. And so it's a very much of a downgrade, right? It's very much him throwing everything away just so he has the freedom. And he pretty much gives the secrets away from, the military. He worked for the military. He gives their secrets away because the planet he was on, they were working on technology which would pretty much act as a satellite of sorts, but it would watch over the entire planet and nothing will be secret. Like, they would be able to see everything, right? You're being spied on 24/7, and he was not going for that. So he was like, I'd rather live in a planet that is well known as a hole in the wall, and instead of living under this dictatorship. And that's exactly what he decides to do. And he pretty much ends up working his way up the ranks of gaining the respect of the people on this planet. And that's what we see, this royal family, which their race was the leaders of that planet until they got taken over. And now they're pretty much second in ranking, right? And, he pretty much bags the princess, like, right away. And it's like, that's a part of the story. This story does have parts in it where it moves very fast to establish certain things. Like there are moments in this was like it's taking its time to develop and tell you what's going on. And then there are other times where it's moving very fast. That's one thing I will say about the story. And not only does he bag her, he ends up marrying her. and they end up being together, right? He left everything he knew to be here and bags a freaking princess. And then the story moves even further from there, and we are moved into the future to where they have a kid together, right? So everything up to this point for him has been really decent, right? He's moved away and everything until he got knocked on his door, given a warning. And here's when the story takes, like, it goes from 1 to 100, right? And you know why I say what I mean from 1 to 100, because they have to drop the kid off, right? He has to drop his family off, and he has to follow this orb, whatever this is, right? And he's on this freaking like massive, warhawk type creature, and it takes him to this guy, right? And here now the story did mention the concept of magic being a part of the culture here, but up to this point, we've seen aliens, we've seen giant monsters, etc., right? But here's when the story takes a very magical turn, right? Very fantasy-esque turn. You see this old guy that looks like your typical wizard, and they barely talk between them until this giant spider comes out of nowhere and tries to attack them. And that's why I say the story goes from 1 to 100, because it feels like we was going to a different direction with this story, and then somewhere along the way it said, it's like, and they live happily ever after, and then the giant spider comes crashing through the roof, and then there's a wizard that has to be saved, and then there's a war, right? It feels sort of like that, right? Like all these crazy concepts start to get thrown into it, and I don't mind it as much, right? But when it comes to the consistency of the writing, right, of the story, it can throw you off. And then the orb of his hand starts to glow, and that's when we see what transpires afterward, and that's when we get this large war that is about to rage on. And here comes his wife. She left the kid at home, and she comes to get her husband. And then that's when we get this crazy battle. We get up until the point of the beginning of the story, and the character Felix is pretty much talking us through this, right? He's telling us everything that's happened up until this point, but now these people have come back, and we don't know their actual intentions, but all I know is that a battle has broken out, and they are on the forefront of whatever is happening. And I feel like reading this, it has elements of like very classical elements of space fantasy, space opera, and regular fantasy that you would read in a novel book, or a very classical fantasy style comic book. It has those elements of being very unique and imaginative within those aspects. So I wouldn't say like Flash Gordon, but it has like the outlandishness of Flash Gordon, right? If you don't know Flash Gordon, please look up Flash Gordon, right? But back to the story itself, we get a little idea of what is going on here, because these next few pages, it's just beautiful art showing the actual battle itself, which I don't mind. The art itself in this story does a great job illustrating what is going on, right? You're not confused at all, and the art itself is just beautiful. The colors itself is very colorful, and the colors that are used is very particular, and I very much enjoy the thought process, right, putting this comic book together. But then we see that it was Felix's old people that I would assume that's come back to get him, right? The very people that he left behind, which will be years ago at this point, have come back to retrieve him specifically from this planet. And it seemed like they just came in blasting, I would assume, right? Because that's what happens. But I'm like, what? Like, I read the story, I'm like, what was the big spider there for, right? Like, what? Like, there's a part in there which could be completely my fault, but I'm like, how did this lead to this exactly? But that's what happens in the story. It's a very good story, and I don't know if there's like any more copies or anything. This was a while ago when I just was looking through my stuff and found this and decided to do a video on it because I very much liked the story. If I'm correct, there's a second one out as of right now. But yeah, I very much just like the story. I wanted to share with you guys. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you for watching.